And welcome back, everybody, to the Drivers' Press Conference here in Mexico City. Group 2, as you can see, we're joined by Sebastian Vettel, Nicholas Latifi, Daniel Ricciardo, Yuki Tsunoda, and George Russell. Hello, guys. Good to see you all. Where should we go? We went left to right last time, so we'll go right to left this time. So, George, we're going to start with you. Throw it back to Austin, first of all. Tricky race for you to fifth. But what can you tell us about the car's performance and the upgrades that you had there?
Yeah, I think it was obviously a shame on Sunday with how things panned out for the obvious reasons at the race start, and completed the race with a bit of a damaged front wing, which didn't help things. So it was yeah, a little bit annoying to see that race ahead of me and not being able to get involved. But I think it's Lewis showed what the car was capable of, and definitely taking a step in the right direction. But I think it's not fair to just judge on one event. I think this is a slightly different circuit now, so hopefully we can go out here this weekend and try and be in the mix again.
Well, it was a Mercedes front row lockout here last year. How do you think it's going to go? How quick will the car be?
I think Mexico is always a bit of a unique one. Tyre prep is really difficult, obviously with the lack of air density and oxygen here. It's difficult for the cars and for the engines. And I think we just have to wait and see. I think last year, as you said, Mercedes were on the front row, but they weren't competitive at all throughout the whole weekend, but managed to turn it on for qualifying. So, yeah, hopefully there can be a small repeat of that, but definitely no guarantees.
Now, you mentioned the word preparation, and of course, Nick de Vries is going to be driving your car in FP1 tomorrow. With the Pirelli test in FP2, how much more complicated does that make your preparations for the race?
It makes it complicated in terms of setting the car up and getting in the groove, but FP1 is always a bit of a tricky session here because this track isn't used often. It's quite dirty, quite dusty, and for me personally, getting the the 90 minutes in FP2 gives you a good opportunity to sort of catch back up in terms of your driving. But no, I don't think it'll be too much of a loss.
Quick word on the battle for P4 in the Drivers' Championship between you and Carlos. What is it, 16 points between you? How much do you want that, given that your previous best, I think, is P15?
Yeah, I think you obviously want to finish every season as high as you want. I think I'm probably more focused on just getting back into a good groove and rhythm. I think the start of this year we had such a consistent run of results, and every single time we hit the track, we were putting in the performances, whether it was on a Saturday or a Sunday, and everything seemed to be running quite smoothly. But these last three races, for various reasons, have been very scrappy, most of which on my behalf. So I'm probably just more focused on trying to have a clean last three weekends, and the championship should hopefully sort itself out.
All right, well, good luck this weekend. Thank you, George. Yuki, we'll come to you now. Now, in Austin, you scored your first points since the Spanish Grand Prix back in May. Just how much of a relief was that result?
Yeah, it was such a long time I didn't score points. Yeah, I think as a team we struggled complete last year, but at the same time, yeah, couple of races I couldn't finish in the points. So yeah, I mean, really satisfied, and finally really happy that I go back in the point, especially the race how I did was pretty good. So quite happy, so I can hopefully continue this momentum until the P5, P13, P12. Obviously you have more risk to kind of have a collision. So hopefully I can end up qualifying forward, but at the same time, yeah, there's a fact. It's true that there's a bit of risk, and it's quite difficult, especially kind of high altitude here and the braking zone. You cannot have a normal brake performance compared to other track, so it's really difficult. So yeah, hopefully I won't be happening like last year, and hopefully I can complete the race, and that's the main important thing. And yeah, but I think it's pretty difficult. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Yuki, and best of luck to you this weekend as well. Daniel, coming to you now. It was a difficult, slightly puzzling race for you in Austin on Sunday. What have you learned since then about that performance?
Quite a bit, I think. after the race, you go through the debrief and that, but also days following, also a little bit today as well, just going back through the race, like limitations, and then areas where obviously with hindsight things we could have done different, or if we had another crack at it, what we would try again. So it's obviously been like more races than not have certainly been a struggle. But I feel like we certainly took something from it since the race. Hopefully puts us in better shape this weekend. So, we'll see what happens. But, I knew quite early on in the race that it was going to be tough. Like it was, I've been doing it long enough now to know that when you have it under you or when you don't. And so that was, I think, the tough thing, just trying to find a way through the race to make it a more competitive situation for us. But, quite early on, it proved to be a struggle.
And do you take some confidence coming back to a track where you've been quick in the past? I'm thinking of your pole here back in 2018.
It always helps. I think, this, not much has, let's say, correlated too well this year in terms of, as I say, it's been a tough season for sure. So I don't come into a circuit relying on like previous success, but of course it helps. And I think honestly what helps is just coming into a race weekend fresh again and with another chance, another opportunity. So that's exciting. 3 days ago after the race I was pretty down, but 3 days after, 4 days after, Thursday it is, I'm pretty motivated and stoked to get back out there.
Daniel, this is the first time we've seen you in this press conference since the death of Dietrich Mateschitz. Can we just get your thoughts on him, his legacy, what he did for your career?
I think there was so much about Dietrich in terms of the way he carried himself. I think also how he was always happy to be out of the limelight. I think, his what he did for so many Red Bull athletes was phenomenal, but he never really looked for too much praise. It was just something that he was able to do, I feel like, from the goodness of his heart, and gave so many of us an opportunity to really achieve our dreams. Like that was it. It's I thought about it a lot, and there's honestly like two groups of people in my life that have put me in this position. It's my parents, and it's Dietrich and Red Bull. They provided this opportunity for me to really chase this career, chase this dream. So it's from that, like, forever grateful. But I think him as a human, as an individual, I think just humble, warm. Not often I think someone with such success maintains, let's say, such behavior, such like, how do I say, just like an extremely good role model, I think, for someone of who'd done so much with their life and had that career, and admirable.
Thank you, Daniel. Nicky, I'm going to come back to you in just a second, but while we're talking about Dietrich, perhaps I could get Sebastian's thoughts on him as well, please.
Yeah, I think a lot of echo from what Daniel already said. I think it was 6 of us on Sunday on the grid that shared, obviously, a story with Red Bull, or are still sharing a story with Red Bull as a brand, as a team, with the junior team. And there's probably more Formula One drivers thinking of others as well. I think the impact that Red Bull had on the grid in the last 15 years has been outstanding and probably unprecedented. I think Dietrich, to me, we had a very good relationship, and what I really appreciate today is that it was always eye level, even though he was far more experienced and knowledgeable than I was, especially early on. So it's been a real shock last week to hear the news, and a massive loss. I think to me, he's been a great inspiration because he's always been himself. So many things happened and evolved in his life and got so big around him, but it is really his creative mind that probably shaped that path until the very end. So it will be a huge loss for the Red Bull family, not just for racing us in Formula One with the impact of 2 teams on the grid and the drivers, like I say, but I think speaking for so many other sports where the brand Red Bull had such a huge impact and helped kids, girls, boys, men, women along the way, and helped them to chase their dream. So it's all down to Dietrich and the idea he had in his head, what he wanted to do with this brand, and that's what he created. So yeah, it is a big, very, very big loss, and everybody who had the privilege to get to know him and be with him, again, echoing a lot of what Daniel said, extremely humble, kind, and just a good and big heart.
Thank you, Seb. And just staying with you, brilliant race by you in Austin on Sunday. Such fun to watch. You led a race again. Where is the pace of the car now? Do you enter every race weekend expecting to fight for points now?
Well, I hope we can carry the momentum. Obviously, the last races have been good for us in terms of overall pace. We were able to, be a little bit stronger and closer to the points positions. Austin in particular, we've been very competitive, being more competitive than Alpine and McLaren for the first time this year, which was a very good and positive surprise, and we hope to keep that up, but we have to be realistic. This is a different track, so we will see how we get on, but just looking forward to hopefully sense a good car underneath me and enjoy the racing that I have left.
Thank you, Seb. And Nicky, thanks for waiting. Just can we start by addressing some talk, some speculation about your future? People are saying that you've signed an IndyCar deal for next year. What's the situation?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like I said in Austin last week, it's all just rumors. Yeah, I haven't decided on anything yet for my future. I mean, of course, I've been exploring options, and IndyCar is a series I'm considering for sure. But I've not decided on anything yet.
Can you just confirm to us that you want to carry on racing, and whether it's endurance, IndyCar, that's what you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think if the right, let's say, opportunity in let's say the right series, which again at this point in time I can't say exactly what the right series is because I haven't made up my mind yet, then it's definitely still on the table. But at the same time, if let's say there's not an option on the table that I feel is the right one for next year, then I'm not necessarily ruling out taking a year to then put something better together for the following one.
Just in terms of performance, where are you guys at Williams at? I mean, there were moments of the race last weekend where you were really competitive. What are you expecting here?
Yeah, I mean, last weekend it was a tricky one. I think, particularly on the option tire, I seemed more competitive, and then once we put the prime tire on, tended to struggle a little bit more, and I just got caught up with. I mean, at the safety car restart, as I was that, let's say, first car of then when all the midfield cars started pitting, I'm that, let's say, block in the road and kind of getting caught up in battles that, let's say, for the sake of my own race was maybe not the best way to go about it, but obviously it was beneficial for the team to just put up as big a fight as possible. And yeah, we almost got some points in the end with Alex, but yeah, coming into this weekend, I think, on paper, this is going to be a very difficult track for us. I guess the only thing we'll have good going for us here is the straight line speed. But again, we're fast in the straight because we don't make a lot of downforce, not because we are extremely efficient in a straight line. So it's obviously the one thing that you really need here is the downforce because the car produces so little of it to begin with. And whenever we've needed to put on maximum downforce this year, we've struggled relative to our competitors. So, even going off the experiences of last year, in which there tends to be let's say, a good correlation of tracks we were more competitive at last year versus this year and whatnot. And this one was a struggle. I guess the good thing is, and I think that kind of brings a little bit of let's say optimism to try and still do a bit of a better job, is there is a lot of other factors here, reliability issues, whether it's people managing PU temps and whatnot, things with brake temperature. So there's a lot of other things that even quicker cars can get wrong. So still, we just got to be there to take any opportunities that come.
All right. Best of luck with that. Thank you, Nicky. Let's open this to the floor. Name and publication, please. Who's got our first one?
Question for Seb. It's all a bit different, isn't it, at the moment compared to the middle part of the season? You've scored points in the last 3 races. Great performance in Austin, especially on the last lap with Kevin Magnussen, driver of the day. Last 2 races, leading races. Are you stopping too quickly? Do you think you might want to stay around for a bit longer the way it's going?
No, it's funny you say that. I think it's maybe, I don't know if it's a thing in Formula One, or is it a general thing in our lives nowadays that, to answer your question, no. I thought about this decision long and hard and from a lot of angles. But I don't know if, I find it's a bit sad that, we tend to swing so much now. I see the benefits of having emotions running high and low rather than just being flat. But I think the judging in general is a bit too quick. We create a hype, and too quick we create like a massive, I don't want to say disappointment, and not because of my situation now, the last races versus maybe the mid part of the season. So it's more of a general thing, but I obviously enjoyed the last 2 races, last couple of races, more than I did maybe some in the mid part of the season, but they have no impact on the decision. And if anything, it's, a great reminder why I love this sport so much, why I love racing so much. I mean, I had great races and I really enjoyed them. But I also had races that I didn't enjoy so much, and I was wishing after 5 laps to see the checkered flag, and it didn't come out. So you still have to find the motivation in that and hang in there. But I wish that sometimes it just wouldn't swing as high and as low. So, but yeah.